Hey guys, this is Mr. Ford. I wanted to do the Algebra 1 Topic 2 review with you guys today. So let's just jump right in. Okay, the first thing says find the slope from the two sets of points. So the first thing you need to remember is there's this fancy formula called the slope formula. Oop, there we go, the slope formula. And it goes something like this. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, so this is x1, this is y1, this is x2, and this is y2. So it's super simple. All we do is we follow the formula. Okay, so y2 is 3, y1 is 3. Okay, divided by x2 is 20, minus x1 is 19. So 3 minus 3 is 0. 20 minus 19 is 1. 0 divided by 1 is 0. So I know my slope is 0. Okay, the next one, y2 is 16. y1 is 8. x2 is 9. And x1 is 20. So 16 minus 8 is 8. 9 minus 20 is negative 11, but since we're mathy people, we write the negative on top, and that is the solution. Okay, the next one, y2 is 10 minus a negative number. Okay, so y1 is negative 2. So minus a negative 2. Two wrongs make a right. And then my kids say, only in math. Okay, so we'll get to that here in a second. Okay, x2 is negative 11 minus x1, which is 19. Okay, so 10 minus negative 2 is 12, because two wrongs make a right, only in math. Minus 11 minus another 19, okay, is minus 30. So we'll write the negative on top. Okay, we need to simplify this down. Okay, so we know 4 can go into both of those. So negative 12 divided by 4 is negative 3. 30 divided by 4 is... Oh, guys, you cannot divide 30 by 4. So we need to divide each one by 3, actually. So negative 12 divided by 3 is negative 4. 30 divided by 3 is 10. There we go. And then we can divide both of those by 2. So my answer is negative 2 over 5. And that is my answer. Okay, on to the next. Okay, ask me for my slope on these graphs. Okay, so I know I go either up or down first because it's rise over run. Okay, so I know there's a dot right here. And I know I go down 1. So I know it's going to be at least minus 1 over something. So it's either up or down first. Okay, so we said down 1. And then you always go to the right. So it goes to the right 1, 2, 3. So it's negative 1 over 3. Okay, the next one, we can put a dot there. And it goes up 1. So we know there's 1. Okay, and it goes to the right, 1, 2, so 1/2. Okay, number 6, we know that the y-intercept is negative 2. So this sign right here, or that number, tells you where you need to start on the y-axis. So it's negative 2, so I put a dot at negative 2. And my slope is up 1 over 3. So up 1 over 1, 2, 3. So I know I put a dot here. Okay, if I want to go the opposite way, I go down 1 and to the left 3. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so then all I have to do is connect my dots. Hopefully you can connect them better than I can. But that is my line. Okay, the next one starts at 5. So I put a dot at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it goes down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1. Because there's an invisible 1 over 1 for my slope, so it's go down 1 to the right 1. Okay, so my graph should look something like that. Number 8 starts at negative 2, and it goes down 2 over 1, because that's the same thing as saying negative 2 over 1. Okay, so then I could go the opposite way, up 2 to the left 1. That way I can get a more accurate line. Okay, so it's something like this. Don't know what's going on down here, but that's so interesting. Okay, the next one starts at negative 2. Hold on. iPad's got a mind of its own. And my slope is 2 over 3, so I go up 2 over 1, 2, 3. Up 2 over 1, 2, 3. And then all I do is connect my dots. Now, something I do want to point out to you guys, okay, lines go on forever. Okay, and the only way I know that it goes on forever is I have these little arrows, and the line goes all the way. So it always has to be a line with arrows at the end. So make sure you don't forget your arrows. Okay, the next one says graph by converting to slope-intercept form by using the intercepts. Okay, all you need to do here is you need to convert these equations to y or slope-intercept form. So slope-intercept form. So all you have to do is we need to subtract the 4x to the other side. Okay, so when we do that, I should probably just write it up here. 4x plus 8y equals minus 8. Okay, when I subtract 4x from both sides, okay, my 4x's cancel out. So I'm left with 8y equals minus 4x minus 8. Okay, the next thing I do is the opposite of times 8 is divide by 8. What I do to the left, I do to everything on the right. So this now turns into y equals negative 1/2 x minus 1. Just like that. So I put a dot at minus 1. I go down 1 over 1, 2. 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 Just like so. And that's how I do it. Now there's something else I could have done. Okay, I'm going to use green. If I wanted to have, I could have put in, so if I wanted to find my, let's say I found my x-intercept, my y-intercept. If I wanted to, all I would have to do to find the x-intercept is anywhere where I see an x, I would put a 0 in. Okay, so if I were to do that, 4 times 0 plus 8y equals negative 8. Let's zoom in on this puppy. Okay, so then 8y equals negative 8. Okay, divide both sides by 8. So y would equal negative 1. Okay, so my x-intercept, or excuse me, my y-intercept is negative 1. Okay, so that means I would put a dot at negative 1. Okay, my x-intercept, I would plug a 0 in for y. Okay, so if I did 4x plus 8 times 0 equals negative 8. Okay, so 4x equals negative 8. Divide both sides by 4. So x equals negative 2. Okay, so then my x-intercept would be negative 2. And I would go to the left 1, 2. And then I'd connect my dots. So there's two ways you can do it. Okay, this is the second way. And this is the first way. Whatever way works best for you. For time purposes, I'm just going to do it with this way. Okay, so if you look at the next one, I have x plus y equals 4. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is put it in slope-intercept form. So minus an x from both sides. Okay, so I'm left with y equals negative x plus 4. And that's the form that we want. So we know it starts at 4. Remember that number right there tells us how far up or how far down we start at. So I'm going to put a dot at 4, and it goes down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1. and then I connect the dots. Just like that. Let's go over that a little bit thicker there. There it is. Awesome. Okay, last one. Again, I have 2x minus 3y equals 6. First thing I'm going to do, get the x's over there so it can be in slope-intercept form. Okay, if I have 2 cookies, okay, and Mr. Freed eats both of my cookies, I have 0 cookies. Okay, I have minus 3y equals minus 2x plus 6. Okay, how do I get rid of negative 3 times something? I divide by negative 3. What I do to the left, I do to everything on the right. So my negative 3's cancel. See you later. I'm left with y. Let's go blue. How patriotic. Y equals 2/3 x, because 2 negatives is a positive, minus 2. Okay, so I go down 1, 2. Go up 1, 2, over 1, 2, 3. Go down 2 to the left 3. There I go. Just like that. So again, this tells me where I start. This tells me how far up I go. This tells me how far right I go. Okay, on to the next. Graphing each line. So y equals negative 3. Okay, remember, y equals negative 3 looks like this. It's a horizontal line. Again, I say that that would have 0 slope. It's not what the question's asking for, but it's 0 slope. So I imagine somebody running on this line like this. Let's say it's Junior, and he's got a football. Okay, and then this is his football field. There it is. So he's running on a slope. It's just not, there's no slope. It's 0 slope. So there is a slope, but it's 0. Okay, the next thing we have is x equals 2, and that looks like this. Okay, it doesn't ask what the slope is, but I always picture a little person flying down just like that. He's falling into some water though. Okay, so he's chill. He's good. But slope is non-existent, so we'd call that undefined if we were to have to say what the slope was. Okay, so vertical lines are undefined. Again, he is falling into some water. Okay, on to the next. Point slope formula. Okay, so the point slope formula is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Okay, the y's, this y stands for that y. This x stands for this x. And this m stands for this m. So what you do is exactly what you'd expect, is you plug it into the formula. So y minus negative 5 is plus 5 equals m, which is negative 5, times x minus the x. Okay, then I do the distributive property. Okay, so I'm left with y plus 5 equals negative 5x plus 10. Okay, then I subtract 5 from both sides. So y equals negative 5x plus 5. And that is my answer. Okay, the next one, same thing. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Okay, so 3/2 times x is 3/2 x. 3/2 times minus 2 is minus 3. That is a 3, I promise. Okay, the opposite of minus 7 is plus 7. Wow, I really struggle with writing numbers today. That is a 7. Okay, so y, my 7's cancel, equals 3/2 x plus 4. And that is my answer. So again, it's super easy. Make sure you know this formula. And then you just plug, and plug it in. And then solve. Okay, the next one is a step further. So what you have to do is you have to find your slope first. and then you have to do the exact same thing as you did above. Okay, so for my slope for this one, I'm going to do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So negative 2 plus 9 is 7. 4 plus 3 is also 7. So 7 over 7 is 1. Okay, so y minus y1. All I have to do is choose one of the points. I always just choose the first because that makes it easier. So y minus y1 equals m. So in this case, it's just 1 times x minus x1. Okay, so y plus 9 equals x plus 3. Whoop. Opposite of plus 9 is minus 9. Okay, so write it over here. Y equals x minus 6. That's my answer. Okay, the next one, I have to find the slope first. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So minus a negative 2 is plus 2. So negative 5 minus 7 is negative 12. 6 plus 2 is 8. Okay, and that simplifies down to negative 3. Oop, sorry. There we go, negative 3 over 2. So now my slope is negative 3 over 2. So y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. That looks familiar. A little bit different. Okay, so y1 is negative 7. So negative 3 over 2 times x is negative 3 over 2x. Okay, negative 3 over 2 times 2 is negative 3. Opposite of minus 7 is plus 7. So y equals negative 3 halves x plus 4. There we go. Sorry, I was just checking to make sure I didn't make a mistake. That would be so embarrassing. Okay, next thing, number 19. You have to find the slope because we're saying if it's parallel. Remember, parallel is like this way. The lines never cross. Okay, and then perpendicular, remember, is like this. They cross at a 90-degree angle. Okay, so parallel has the same slope. Okay, and as you can tell from this, the slope of perpendicular is opposite reciprocal. So let's see what we got. y2 is 14 minus y1 is 10. x2 is negative 4 minus x1, which is 4. So I get 4 over negative 8. Okay, so my slope is negative 1/2 for that one. Now when I do this one, 12 minus 8 over 2 minus 0, I get 4 over 2. So my answer is 2. So in this case, since my slopes are opposite, the signs are opposite, and the reciprocals of each other, we know that has to be perpendicular. There it is, perpendicular. Okay, the next one, again, we're just trying to look at the slopes. So we need to make sure it's in slope-intercept form. So let's make this one in slope-intercept form. Check me out, zoom in. Okay, going to move the 5x to this side. Okay, so if I have 5 cookies and Mr. Freed eats my 5 cookies, I have no cookies. Silly Mr. Freed. So I have minus 2y equals minus 5x plus 4. How do I get rid of times negative 2? I divide by negative 2, and what I do to the left, I have to do to the right. So I'm left with y equals 5 over 2x minus 2. Okay, so now I'm just checking out these slopes. So this slope is a 2 over 5, and this slope is a 5 over 2. While they are opposite, or while they are reciprocals, they're not opposite, so we write that they are neither. They're neither parallel or perpendicular. Okay, we're on the last page. We got down to 3. Here we go. Okay, so write equations of parallel and perpendicular lines. Okay, all you have to do with these is, again, you have to know the point slope formula. So y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Okay, first thing you're going to do is this is parallel. So we know it has to have the same slope as this one. Okay, so I know that there's a line, and check me out. The line's called this. Y plus 4x equals 5. I'm just going to go ahead and solve it really quick. So it's in slope-intercept form. Okay, so I know it's actually called y equals negative 4x plus 5. Okay, so y equals negative 4x plus 5. Okay, then there's this other line that comes along, and he's parallel to that line, but we don't know what his equation is. But what we do know is that somewhere on the line is this guy, negative 2, negative 1. Okay, so all we do is we write down the formula, y minus y1, so minus negative 1, wow, plus 1, equals m, so we knew my slope has to be negative 4, times x minus x1, which is negative 2. Okay, then all I have to do is solve it. So negative 4 times x, negative 4 times 2. So y plus 1 is negative 4x minus 8. Subtract the 1. So my equation to that line over there is y equals negative 4x minus 9. And again, that is this line. Okay, the next one, passes through 9, negative 4, but it's perpendicular to that line. Okay, so again, the first thing I'm going to do is put this in slope-intercept form. Okay, my 3x's cancel, so I'm left with minus 5y equals negative 3x plus 5. Boom, love it. The opposite of negative 5 times negative 5 is divide by negative 5. So I'm left with y equals 3 over 5x minus 1. Okay, and just to give you a visual with what I'm talking about is I got a line, nice little line. His equation's y equals 3/5 x minus 1. And then I got this other dude who looks like this, and he's perpendicular to this guy. But we know somewhere on the line is this point. So I got to find the equation of that green line. So all I do is I do y minus y1, so minus negative 14 plus 14, equals m. I know it's perpendicular, so it has to be the opposite reciprocal of this guy. Okay, so the opposite reciprocal, so the opposite of positive is negative, and the reciprocal is 5 over 3, and it's x minus the other x. Okay, so I have y plus 14 equals negative 5 over 3 times x is negative 5 over 3x. Okay, negative 5 over 3 times negative 9. Okay, so if you don't have a calculator, you can do negative 5 times negative 9 over 3. So negative 5 times negative 9 is 45 over 3. Okay, so I know that negative 5 or positive 45 over 3 is equal to 15. Just like that. Okay, the next thing I have to do is I have to subtract 14. So I know I have y equals negative 5 over 3x plus 1. And that is my answer. Okay, I have one more to share with you guys today. Okay, my guy Dakota, he's got $6. Okay. It's a weird color for money. Hold up. Okay. He's got $6. He's got, drew his arm green. 1 second. There we go. He's super happy because he's so rich with his $6. And he needs to buy some food and some drinks. So we say drinks cost $1.25. I'm going to let X equal drinks. Okay? And salads cost 20 cents per ounce. So I'm going to say Y's are equal to ounces of salad. Okay, so I know that it costs him $1.25 per drink that he buys. And I know that it costs him 20 cents per ounce of salad that he buys. And he only has $6. But then it says if he buys 2 drinks, how many ounces of salad can he buy? So I plugged in 2 drinks for his drinks. Okay, so $1.25 plus another $1.25 is $2.50 plus 0.2, because that's what 20 cents is, times however many ounces equals 6. Okay, so I'm going to subtract $2.50 from both sides. So that cancels out. I'm left with 0.2y equals $3.50. Then I get my handy dandy calculator out. Mine's on my phone, so sometimes it takes me a while to find. $3.50 divided by 20 cents is 17.5, which tells us that our guy Dakota can buy 17.5 ounces of salad. And that is our review.